Good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? And could you be mine and be my neighbor? So I decided today I'd do a little blackboard work to illustrate some things from zero or whatever. I'm gonna put myself somewhat into a trance state so that I can actually process a little bit better. So give me a few seconds. So, when you close your eyes, you're in the darkness, right? I think we can all agree on that. Blackness, whatever you want to call it. In order to understand zero, you must think about simply being there in the darkness as the beginning point. There is nothing else besides the darkness. So inside of an infinite thing, whatever this is, you are merely a point, a dot. Yeah, it's not. You're a point, a dot. All this out here is unknown. The very top of the sphere, inside of the shadow, in the darkness. You just woke up. You're opening your eye, your mind's eye, whatever. Your state of awareness. And there you are in the darkness. How long do you sit like this? See? What else do you do? Inside the darkness, so there's nothing else there. Now, you don't even have the concept of sound, voice, life. There is nothing, just the void. What do you do? Isa, the one supreme being. At the very top. Laguz, the rune for water or emotion. Emotion, energy and motion. What do you feel being alone inside of the void? PKP, electricity. Also colored yellow. Raichu's more orange. Cross-reference colors. Oh, his cheeks are red too. And the red part puts out the spark. So, survival is the electric spark, and yellow, third chakra, sun. Power. Inside the blackness, there's all colors, right? That means all emotions are gathered inside of that one mass. But it's more than just emotion. Emotion is energies in motion. So, now how do you go about making others? This room needs to reflect in upon yourself. You can see from that angle, you can extrapolate from right here on that part. Kanaz, or the beacon. And if we fill that in, Tewas, the warrior. Now, Kanaz is simply Isa pulled back, leaving these 2 points as being the beginning of the Isa and moving this one back deeper into a different realm, making this the new iteration. So from here, you go to male and female. So you have the ghost and you have spirit. Ghost and spirit, which would give you ghost and spirit, with Isa projecting down deeper past those 2 to another iteration to build. Kanaz was a beacon, symbol of fire. So there goes your 2 that form the Trinity. Now there are many various trinities, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva being the top. And there's many different representations. Right here you have water, reflection, and fire, or Isa, stillness and fire, the song of ice and fire. If you take fire and fire, reflected upon itself, you have Othala, which is the masculine, variant of the fertility room. Add a line for being in the hands. Subtract the seed. Arcana. And then you have Ingus. Along with line out here and line out there to represent, yeah, that goes there and that goes there. Which, if you put the 2 points together, you'll get box. That's out of the way. The acronym for box. Arcana Ingus X. It's a seed package between male and female to go down the levels of creation into realities. Of course, when you start off, you have the big supreme being. It's both male and female because it has to be in order to create positive and negative. It's just a being. But since it's projecting its energy into the pool, its wheel, showing that it does have an ego, it's considered to be Yod. Put the mirror of reflection there. Boy. So you have Father, Son, Daughter, which are both equal, which male and female, father, mother, come together and have Vow, or V, which is the seed. Or that's how intercourse between the two pops up. Now, in the common sense thing, when you think with the ego, the creator is the supreme ego. If you have one that makes itself into two, positive and negative, and they always talk about the divine fire, then that means that these are both considered to be a part of the divine fire, which would be why you see it symbolizing a red flame for men and the blue flame for women. Or no. Well, that's technically true at the same time. But it's iterations. Red and blue. Yeah, it does. So red and blue. But these are both going to be considered fire. So when you have a twin soul, the creator himself is a twin soul, naturally. Gemini. That's why you see he has the positive side of himself, and then he has the negative side that he shows when you get pissed off. It's everyone has it. It's nothing big. It's what everyone has. Common sense. But since they're different, you're gonna have male over here, the female will be right there. The two intersect with each other. This gives you a thala, or the male version of the fertility room, or in-laws, whatever it is. This in-laws, not thala. Which, when you remove the two on the outside, if you don't fully, when you remove all this extra stuff, it becomes Ingus, or the seed. So from the two divine fires comes the seed. Now at the same time, as this is happening, it's generating more energy. As you start to generate more energy within distances, it all interlinks to become like a matrix or a web of vibration. Thus, when you think of points, you have the circles that extend out from the point, or levels of infinity. Then you also have the line. So circle and male, female, male. In the center, you have neutrons, which are both positive and negative, and a proton, which would be considered the daughter. Because fathers keep their daughters close, and you send your sons away. So you have negative electrons, L as in electricity, the sun. These are principles that are hidden inside of our math and sciences that we're looking at. So you have to have a double vision of how the creation kind of unfolds. So neutron, which is both positive and negative, father aspect, or the supreme being both. Then you have the positive, which would be considered the daughter, sticking to his more negatively charged self, just slightly. And then you have the sun, which is out here. Now, I've been doing research, and it says that whenever you send your daughters away, or whenever the protons go out of the nucleus, they lose charge and they automatically become negative. So that means they become a sun. And this would go into the more appropriate terminology for what's happening is when you come here, it's like you're Lakshmi, the mother, the female aspect of the Trinity. I'm pretty sure she's in a Trinity. You're going to have one here that's going to be supreme. Then you have the male aspect, then you have the female aspect. And these two are equal, but they're all kind of the same. So you get ghost and spirit going back together to make the one. Or inside this place, your spirit is you on the outside and how you are. Your ghost is your shadow within yourself. Everything starts to break down if you look at the patterns. You have your root chakra. Then you have your female, your desire. You have your fire. Then you have heart, air. Then you have voice. Then you have intuition. And at the very top, looks like a cell, doesn't it? This is a male chakra. These three are female. The energy goes up the spiral. And of course you have the wings of Hermes, or the neocortex of theirs, what that represents, to make a caduceus. But alternating male and female, you have 3 male chakras and 3 female chakras. This represents your Ida, and this one's Pingala nadis, and how they flow up. The two must be united, red and blue, to make the purple coat. What most yogis are trying to do is just make this all ascend straight up, and they're ignoring these aspects of it. You're supposed to use all of you to charge the whole system. That should make somewhat sense inside of that lesson. The idea is to sit back and think. What would you do if you were all alone, locked inside of a void with nothing to do? Eventually, you would start reflecting, and you would see the things inside yourself. But how do you make others that are like you? You get down the whole, I can split myself and make more copies of me. It requires this much amount of energy. How do you get things that are different from you? Because you are all there is. inside the void. It's all about identity and forging a proper identity. It's all about the stories you tell. After all, you live within a movie. They say you're on the Truman Show. True Man Show. The true man. What is the person inside of you? What is your truth? And what are all the characters that you've built? Ultimately, you don't need to know everything at the top. You just need to get past the 7. You don't need to worry about the other things. Most people don't anyway. And if you do, you'll figure it out. It's not that much harder. Just an art form. In order for you to become like Issa, you must reflect inside your mind. And eventually, Issa will hold your hand. And you get Awas, the room for movement. Hand in hand, you start off side by side. From the very beginning, your imprint of the seed. After all, it takes a copy of itself and all this and just drains it and leaves a basic blueprint. You know, circles, lines. And that's why he's considered to be the spider. Because circles and lines from the center point all these circles and lines on the outside that form the web. The basic idea of what you are, the defining aspects, but only by your movement and action do you fill in different parts of the web until you find your way cracking out or appearing to the end. The egg that has all the potential inside of it must break. So your outer perception inside the day, your inner perception inside the night must become one. And when you become one, you become the warrior. It's all written inside the runes. You wake up, you gather yourself and reflect down to one point. You should wake up joyful for the day. So you take off on the left foot, right foot, whichever. You just take off. You march forward. You journey. Just sit back and look at the runes and contemplate what the shapes and meanings mean. That'll help out a lot. Spider webs, the spider. It's all linked together by one thing. And you guys aren't playing the game right. You're leaving out the dude that started it all. Some people say he exists and they bow down to worship. Not what he wants. All this was made for the point of making others. To have others that are different. They understand they're younger, but they're willing to play the game inside and to help out inside the shadows. And once you come to have your realization, you've earned back your soul. Or, well, while you're earning it at the same time, it all kinds of comes together into one cumulative point of force of inside and outside at the same time to where the worlds bleed over and you enter back into the dream. The egg cracks, you exceed the matrix. And once you exceed the matrix, you end up inside of the greater dream. Now what you do with your dreaming is what you do with your dreaming. But a lot of people have been doing the wrong dreaming, so therefore they don't get their immortality back. And immortality means you come back. This is why this is called, you have the resurrection. Those who've truly done it, they have the resurrection. And they have no worries for anything. And they know what they can do and what time, even if they suffer a lot. They'll eventually get there. Because you got to know more of what you're doing besides just wandering the earth, feeling like you're cursed. Because you can do all types of things inside of a dream. And that's why there's key realizations that must happen before you get admitted back in. Everything has a reason. If it's a system, how would you build the system? What checks would you have inside there to make sure people who are worthy return back? Big questions, easy answers. So, sit back and think about it. What would you do if you were all alone inside the void? I'll catch you all later.